Okay, so now let's discuss about cloud benefits. Obviously, before using Microsoft Azure Cloud, we need to understand what are the good things which are coming from that, or maybe what are the reasons why should we use cloud. In this particular module, the main thing which we are going to focus is first we are going to describe the benefits of high availability and scalability in the cloud. Maybe you are already familiar with these terms like high availability, scalability, reliability, predictability, or may not. I'm going to assume you maybe have some idea, but still I'm going to explain about these terminologies because these are very important in the cloud world. We are going to describe the benefits of security and governance. Most people do not differentiate between the terms like security and governance, but both are different and both are very important in cloud. And then we are going to discuss about describing the benefits of manageability in the cloud, how we can manage resources and services in cloud. These are the four main objectives of this particular cloud benefit domain. If I talk about the benefits here on this particular slide, I want you to make sure that you understand each and every term which is there in the slide. And that's the reason I'm going to take one of them and then I'm going to explain that, and then I will really insist you that you search about this word later on in any available search engine and try to understand better in that. Like the first one is high availability, which is all about making sure that if you are configuring any kind of a server or a machine on the cloud, then it should be available maximum time. If you have ever heard about something like SLA, service level agreement of the cloud, where they are giving you a guarantee of an uptime that my server is going to be available on 99.9% of the time, or maybe it is going to be available at 99.999. Maybe they are going to add 3 nines up to 3 decimals kind of thing. That is something which is all about high availability. Now, obviously, more nines in that availability is going to make sure that you're going to have minimum downtime in that particular server. When you are going with most of the cloud services which are associated with the compute, it is going to give you a service level agreement, a kind of a guarantee that my service is going to be available for this much amount of time, which is all about high availability. After that, we have a second one, which is scalability. Let's say you are configuring a computer or a virtual machine in the cloud environment where you maybe initially required some limited amount of resources, like you maybe need a computer with only 4 CPUs and 16 GB RAM. But over a period of time when you're using it, after few days, you decided that this capacity is not enough because maybe you're using that server for hosting multiple applications and databases and all. If you want to scale that computer with a higher compute power or with a higher memory or storage power, that is something which is all about scalability. Now, scalability is also having some categorization, like we have vertical scaling, we have horizontal scaling, and based on that, you can configure what kind of scalability you want. Cloud is giving you scalability with a very easily configurable manner. All you need to do is sometimes changing few values in the properties, or just by changing some slider values in that particular UI, which we call Azure Portal, you can scale your computer, you can scale your application or database. The third term which I want to focus is predictability. Obviously, predictability is focusing on predicting high availability or predicting cost. If I am deploying my application or database on cloud, I want to be very sure about how much I have to pay at the end of the month. Most cloud resources and services are going to give you an estimated cost, which is 99% accurate. While creating that service, if you get to know that how much you have to pay at the end of the month, it will be giving you a wise decision whether you have to go for which configuration of that particular service. This kind of predictability is also equivalently important for your customers because they are also going to ask you that if you are using cloud, how much I have to invest, how much I have to pay or what will be the billing amount at the end of the month. That is also something which is giving you a clarity that whether you want to use that cloud service and then what kind of configuration you want to choose for that. The fourth one is governance. Governance is all about those rules which your organizations are going to follow. You want to make sure that you're going to match the compliance standard of your organization. Not only that, you also want to make sure that if any resources hosted on the cloud or any particular services which are used by your end users are matching with those governance standard or not. Azure Cloud provides so many tools and services to make sure that your resources are going to be governed, as well as they also monitor those resources. So if somewhere a security breach or governance breach is there, it is automatically going to notify the admin user of that particular cloud. Now we have elasticity. Now most people get confused between scalability and elasticity, because scalability is focusing on adding more compute power or reducing more compute power kind of thing. Elasticity is also very similar to that, but it can also give you an elastic facility of configuring multiple resources under one area. For example, if you are comfortable with SQL databases where we can create tables, views, store procedures, and it's ultimately a RDBMS kind of a service provided by Microsoft. But when you're using SQL Server or SQL database, we have a terms like Elastic Pool. Elastic Pool of SQL Server, which is hosted on Azure, is one of the coolest feature, which not only giving me a scalability kind of a facility, but also allows me to control the cost of that particular resource. We will talk about this later on when we have a SQL Server database hosted on Azure is having Elastic Pool kind of configuration. Then we have reliability. Reliability is very important because whoever is providing the service to you, you have to make sure that they are not going to misuse your data. They are not going to give you false promises. That's the reason, even though we have 30 to 40 cloud providers in the market, most organizations trust these clouds like Azure Cloud provided by Microsoft, GCP provided by Google, or AWS provided by Amazon. Even if you do the research by yourself, more than 90% of Fortune 1000 companies are using Microsoft Azure Cloud for their customers, for their services. This is one of the thing which is coming under reliability, because if you do not trust the cloud provider and the ethics followed by them, then it is really tough for you to put your services and resources there. The next term is obviously security, which starts with another followed terms like authentication, authorization, encryption, and lot many. Azure Cloud is one of the most secure cloud in the market. This Azure Cloud always makes sure that no matter what you're dealing with, you want to deal with the user management, data management, or maybe a compute management or network. Everywhere, security is always taken as a high priority. During this course, you're going to learn a couple of places where not only firewall or defender kind of services are available, but also you have a control of taking care of security in your hand. Next, we have manageability. This is the last point in this particular discussion, but managing something is very important, especially when you have to depend on managing those things by your employees. If you are an organization and you are giving a task to your employees which is time consuming or which is not so easy to manage, there are chances that humans can make some mistakes in that and which can impact on the business. Managing cloud resources in Azure is really easy and multiple tools are available on that. We have a tool called Azure Portal. If you have ever seen a website which is portal.azure.com, it looks like this. Most of the cloud users who are developers, data engineers, data scientists, or cloud architect, they love using this website which is portal.azure.com. You need to have an account and an Azure subscription in order to use this portal, but it will give you a feeling like you can manage all the cloud resources under this one umbrella. That's a different thing that we have some other tools also. We have a PowerShell and Bash command script based tools which are also available, which is known as Azure CLI. Most of the cloud administrators love to execute scripts using Azure CLI. So there are various tools which are available there to manage your cloud resources, no matter which role you belong to. If you're a student or a developer or an administrator, or maybe you are a senior architect, we have a tool for you where you can manage your cloud resources and services easily.